Hi everyone, I'm Linda Reimer, one of the librarians at the Southeast Bend County Library. Welcome to Library Connections, our weekly readers, viewers, and listeners advisory video cast. Enjoy. Library Connections number 41, hosted by SSCL librarian Linda Reimer. This is the Friday, February 12th, 2021 edition of Library Connections, and we should all celebrate Abraham Lincoln's life since today is the anniversary of his birth. Kicking things off with the top 5 fiction bestsellers of the week from the New York Times. At number 1, The Four Winds by Kristen Hanna. As dust storms roll during the Great Depression, Elsa must choose between saving the family and farm or heading west. At number 2, The Duke and I by Julia Quinn, the first book in the Bridgerton series. Daphne Bridgerton's reputation soars when she colludes with the Duke of Hastings, the basis of the Netflix series Bridgerton. At number 3, The Survivors by Jane Harper. Kieran Elliott takes his young family to his coastal hometown, where a body is found on the beach. At number 4, Serpentine by Jonathan Kellerman, the 36th book in the Alex Delaware series. Sturgis calls on Delaware to help solve a decades-old cold case. And at number 5, Firefly Lane by Kristen Hanna, a friendship between two women in the Pacific Northwest endures for more than 3 decades, and that book too is the basis for a Netflix series. Moving on to the top 5 nonfiction bestsellers for this week. At number 1, Think Again by Adam Grant, an examination of the cognitive skills of rethinking and unlearning that could be used to adapt to a rapidly changing world. At number 2, 400 Souls, edited by Ibram Kendi and Keisha Blaine, a compendium featuring 90 writers covering 400 years of African American history. At number 3, Unmasked by Andy Ngo, a former writer for the online magazine Quillette, gives his perspective on the activist movement Antifa. At number 4, Just As I Am by Cicely Tyson with Michelle Bruford. The late iconic actress describes how she worked to change perceptions of Black women through her career choices. And at number 5, A Promised Land by Barack Obama. In the first volume of his presidential memoirs, Barack Obama offers personal reflections on his formative years and pivotal moments through his first term. Our first recommended read for this week is the new Jamie Harrison novel, The Center of Everything. In the summer of 2002, 42-year-old Polly is in the middle of a multi-generational, crisis-rich situation in Livingston, Montana. Polly struggles with the after effects of a traumatic brain injury. With the full support of her devoted husband, Ned, she and her family are also planning the upcoming 90th birthday of Great Aunt Maud. Meanwhile, a search party of townspeople continues to look for Ariel, the babysitter of Polly's children, who was in a boating accident and is now presumed dead. As the narrative deftly moves back and forth between Polly's current troubles and her childhood years in 1960s New York, years that were rife with half-understood adult tragedies that engulfed her beloved grandparents, parents, and best friend Edmund, old traumas resurface with stunning parallels. Verdict. In this exquisitely nuanced, beautifully constructed novel, Harrison draws the reader into young Polly's filtered understanding of her world, rich with happily married couples versus the uncertain reality of the adult Polly coping with memory loss while slowly untangling shocking family secrets. A magnificent gem. And that review is by Beth Anderson for Library Journal, and is indeed the first recommended read of the week. Our second recommended read for this week is a new British cozy by Catherine Lloyd. It's called Death Comes to the Rectory. Murder casts a dark shadow over the christening of Lady Lucy and Major Sir Robert Curlin's daughter, Elizabeth. Even more so when Lucy's own father, the rector, falls under suspicion for the crime. Lucy and Robert's joy in christening their new daughter, surrounded by extended family and loved ones who have gathered in the village of Curlin St. Mary, is only enhanced when Robert's Aunt Rose, now the second wife of Lucy's father, Ambrose, announces that she is with child. However, not everyone is happy about the news. In particular, Rose's adult daughter, Henrietta, and her husband, who fear for their inheritance. Following the christening, Rose's disagreeable son-in-law, Basil Northam, threatens to turn afternoon tea in the rectory into an unsightly brawl. The next morning, he is found in the rector's study, stabbed through the heart with an antique letter opener, clutching a note that appears to implicate the rector himself. As the local justice of the peace, Robert has an obligation to remain unbiased in his investigation of the ghastly crime, even though his prime suspect is both a man of the cloth and his wife's father. But Lucy, she is under no such obligation. As snow traps the members of the christening party in Curlin St. Mary, she vows to clear her father's name and bring the cold-blooded culprit to justice. Someone had better start saying their prayers. And that title is available as a Hoopla instant checkout ebook. Just FYI, it is the 8th book in the Curlin St. Mary mystery series. If you'd like to start with the first book, it's titled Death Comes to the Village. Again, that's Death Comes to the Village, the first book in the series. Our third recommended read for this week is The Duke and I by Julia Quinn. From New York Times best-selling author Julia Quinn comes the first novel in the beloved Regency set world of her charming, powerful Bridgerton family, now a series created by Shonda Rhimes for Netflix. And I know this is very popular right now, so you're probably aware of it anyway, but it is, as that intro states, charming. It's a nice, charming series of books, and the series is charming, so if you just want to sit back and take in a nice story that's charming and upbeat, with characters that turn out all right in the end, you might want to check this series out. So having given you all that intro, let me tell you a little about the book, The Duke and I. In the ballrooms and drawing rooms of Regency London, rules abound. From their earliest days, children of aristocrats learn how to address an earl, and curtsy before a prince, while other dictates of the tongue are unspoken, yet universally understood. A proper duke should be imperious and aloof. A young marriageable lady should be amiable, but not too amiable. Daphne Bridgerton has always failed at the latter. The fourth of 8 siblings in her close-knit family, she has formed friendships with the most eligible young men in London. Everyone likes Daphne for her kindness and wit, but no one truly desires her. She is simply too deuced honest for that, too unwilling to play the romantic games that captivate gentlemen. In other words, she's more of a modern lady, but I digress. Amiability is not a characteristic shared by Simon Basset, Duke of Hastings. Recently returned to England from abroad, he intends to shun both marriage and society, just as his callous father shunned Simon throughout his painful childhood. Yet an encounter with his best friend's sister offers another option. If Daphne agrees to a fake courtship, Simon can deter the mamas who parade their daughters before him. Daphne, meanwhile, will see her prospects and her reputation soar. The plan works like a charm at first, but amid the glittering, gossipy, cutthroat world of London's elite, there is only one certainty: love ignores every rule. And that's our third recommended read for this week. Our first audiobook recommendation for this week is the novel The Bookwoman of Troublesome Creek, written by Kim Michelle Richardson and read by Katie Shore. In 1936, tucked deep into the woods of Troublesome Creek, Kentucky, blue-skinned 19-year-old Cussie Carter, the last living female of the rare Blue people ancestry, has just snuffed out her last courting candle, her last chance for respectability and a marriage bed. The lonely young Appalachian woman joins the historical Pack Horse Library Project of Kentucky and becomes a librarian, riding across slippery creek beds and up treacherous mountains on her faithful mule to deliver books and other reading materials to the impoverished hill people of eastern Kentucky. Along her dangerous route, Cussie, known to the mountain folk as Bluet, confronts those suspicious of both her damsfly blue skin and the government's new book program. She befriends hardscrabble and complex fellow Kentuckians and is fiercely determined to bring comfort and joy, instill literacy, and give those who have nothing a bookly respite. The Bookwoman of Troublesome Creek is a story of hope and heartbreak, raw courage and strength, splintered with poverty and oppression, and one woman's chances beyond the darkly hollows. Inspired by the true and historical blue-skinned people of Kentucky and the brave and dedicated Kentucky Pack Horse Library Service, the novel showcases an atmospheric, fascinating, and important footnote of Kentucky history, one that should be prized and preserved. And my cat scratching at the door thinks so too. Our second audiobook recommendation for this week is the new J.D. Robb, Faithless in Death, read by Susan Ericksen. in the new Eve Dallas police thriller from #1 New York Times bestselling author J.D. Robb, what looks like a lover's quarrel turned fatal has larger and more terrifying motives behind it. The scene in the West Village studio appears to be classic crime of passion. 2 wine glasses by the bed, music playing, and a young sculptor named Ariel Bird with the back of her head bashed in. But when Eve Dallas tracks down the wealthy Upper East Side woman who called 911, the details, they just don't add up. Gwen Huffman is wealthy, elegant, and comforted by her handsome fiancé as she sheds tears over the trauma of finding the body. But just why did it take an hour for her to report it, and why is she lying about little things? As Eve and her team look into Gwen, her past, and the people around her, they find that the lies are about more than murder. As with sculpture, they need to chip away at the layers of deception to find the shape within. And soon, they're getting the FBI involved in a case that involves a sinister, fanatical group and a stunning criminal conspiracy. And that's our second audiobook recommendation for this week. Our first streaming recommendation for this week is the 2006 film The Prestige, available now through Amazon Prime Video. Between his first and second cracks at Batman, director Christopher Nolan slid in this twisty, stylish exercise in sleight-of-hand movie making, as if to assure the fans of his breakthrough movie Memento that he was still up to his old tricks. This time around, the prestigination is literal. In The Prestige, Nolan tells the story of 2 stage magicians in 1890s London, whose friendly rivalry becomes deadly. Hugh Jackman and Christian Bale scheme and connive in the leading roles. A standout supporting cast includes Michael Caine, Scarlett Johansson, Rebecca Hall, and David Bowie. And that is the New York Times review. Our second streaming recommendation for this week is the 1985 film Witness, available through Amazon Prime Video. Harrison Ford stars as John Book, a Philadelphia detective investigating a murder whose only witness is a young Amish boy. So he follows the boy and his mother back to their insular community to protect them. The director Peter Weir deftly intermingles this suspenseful mystery story with an affecting human drama, in which Book finds himself drawn not only to the small Amish town, but also to the young mother, which raises the stakes considerably. The review is from the New York Times, and they also recommend that you check out Weir's Dead Poets Society, which is also streaming on Prime Video right now. And this is a great movie, by the way. If you haven't seen Witness, I've seen it a number of times over the years. It's just an excellent film, and it will definitely take you out of the world we're living in for an hour or two. I think it's about 90 minutes long. Our third and final streaming recommendation for this week is the 2005 adventure film Zathura, available now through Netflix. The director Jon Favreau started his career making chatty indies like Swingers, and is now the go-to guy for Marvel and Disney. This enchanted 2005 family adventure was the bridge he built between those worlds. Based on a 2002 novel by the Jumanji author Chris Van Allsburg It tells a similar story in which children are drawn into the world of a board game that is perhaps too immersive. The special effects are jaw-dropping, and the adventure elements are enthralling, particularly for young audiences. But Favreau's background in small-scale, character-driven narratives shines through in the sweet and surprisingly moving conclusion. And that's the New York Times review. So I'm going to recommend both the film Zathura and all the other Jumanji films, the original from the 90s with Robin Williams, and the recent films, 2 of them so far, featuring The Rock. And our Hoopla recommendation for this week is an album, Where Did Our Love Go? By the Supremes from 1964. It's the second album by the great singing trio, the original trio of the Supremes, consisting of Diana Ross, Mary Wilson, and Florence Ballard. The album contains 3 of their greatest songs, Baby Love, the title track Where Did Our Love Go?, and Come See About Me. It's a hopeful sounding collection for the great times we are living through, and I would also listen to it in honor of Mary Wilson, who passed earlier this week. And on to our Odd Duck recommendation of the week. This past week we lost the great actor Christopher Plummer, who died at the age of 91 after a fall, but he left us with some phenomenal performances preserved on film, and I'm going to recommend 5 of them for our Odd Duck this week. And these, by the way, are in alphabetical order from 1 to 5, just so I can keep track of where I am. It's not that one is better than the other. It's just a librarian thing. I like to have them in alphabetical order. So, 5 excellent Christopher Plummer recommendations, film-wise. Number 1 is Beginners from 2010. A young man is rocked by 2 announcements from his elderly father, Christopher Plummer. First, that he has terminal cancer, and second is a twofer that he is gay and has a young male lover. At number 2, The Insider from 2000, a docudrama about how the tobacco industry's lawyers pressured the producers of the CBS News magazine 60 Minutes. Plummer plays the reporter Mike Wallace, known and feared far and wide for his dogged interviewing style. At number 3, Knives Out from 2019. When a renowned crime novelist, Harlan Thrombey, Christopher Plummer, is found dead at his estate just after his 85th birthday, the inquisitive and debonair Detective Blanc is mysteriously enlisted to investigate. From Harlan's dysfunctional family to his devoted staff, Blanc sifts through a web of red herrings and self-serving lies to uncover the truth behind Harlan's untimely death. At number 4, Murder by Decree from 1979. When Scotland Yard is unable to stop the gruesome rampage of Jack the Ripper, a citizens' committee asks Sherlock Holmes, Christopher Plummer, and his trusted associate, Dr. John H. Watson, James Mason, to investigate. At number 5, Star Trek VI, The Undiscovered Country from 1991. This is the last film with the original Star Trek cast, and as a bonus, it includes a great performance by the great Christopher Plummer. Plummer brings some Shakespearean style to what may be his best bad guy role as the one-eyed Klingon General Chang. One of the great Star Trek nemesis, Chang takes advantage of a moment of mercy from his sworn enemies to upend their peace negotiations and gives the Federation and the Starship Enterprise one of their toughest tests. Between Chang's blustering monologues and his ruthless machinations, Plummer makes villainy look fun. Have questions about this weekly videocast? Let me know. Send an email to me at reimerl@stls.org and I'll get back to you. Again, that's reimerl@stls.org. And you can also call the library. Currently, library hours are Mondays and Fridays, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., Tuesdays and Thursdays, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m., Saturdays from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., and we're closed to the public on Wednesdays and Sundays, although Wednesday is a day for students to come to the library, and they have to arrange that through their teachers. And that is the end of the new Library Connections content for this week. What follows are a few helpful informational tidbits. The tidbits include directions as to where you can connect with the library online via our website, catalogs, blogs, and social media pages. Links to articles used to create this week's video, otherwise known as references, in case you'd like to check them out for more information, and the library's contact information. The library's website, which is found at ssclibrary.org, and of course this is the Southeast Steuben County Library's website. On our website you can access the calendar page and see what's going on. Most of our programs are virtual right now, but we do have a number of things happening. You can access our catalogs, click the Make Appointment link to arrange for curbside pickup or to use a computer. The library's appointments page is found, as I said, on the library's website at ssclibrary.org. It's the purple link that says Make an Appointment located near the top of the page, and you can just click on that and then select whether you wish to make an appointment to use a public computer during library hours of operation or to make a curbside pickup appointment. Those are available at select times. StarCat and the BookMine app. StarCat is the catalog of physical library materials, print books, large print books, DVDs, music compact discs, audiobooks on CD, all that kind of stuff. And it is found online at starcat.stls.org. It does have a companion app, so if you'd like to download the BookMine app, I don't know why they didn't just call it the StarCat app, but it's called BookMine. You can download it to your mobile device and then access StarCat through the app. The digital catalog with companion apps Libby and Overdrive. And I should note here what I'm talking about, the digital catalog and StarCat, they are available for all Southern Tier Library System member library card holders. Try saying that 10 times fast. In other words, if you have a library card for a public library in Steuben, Chemung, Yates, Schuyler, or Allegheny counties in New York State, you can access content through the digital catalog. You can use StarCat. The digital catalog's web version is found at stls.overdrive.com, and there are two apps associated with it, Libby, which is for newer devices, and Overdrive, which is for older devices and Kindle tablets. Hoopla. The Hoopla catalog features eBooks, comic books, downloadable audiobooks, and streaming videos, including both TV shows and movies. All Hoopla items are available for Southeast Steuben County Library card holders to instantly check out. In other words, there are no holds. If you see it in the Hoopla catalog, you can instantly access it. Now, there is a limit of 6 items per month, and that's because this particular model in library land is called a pay-for-circ model. It means each time a patron checks out an item through the Hoopla catalog, our library has to pay for it, or pay a charge for it. It's not the full price of the item, but there is a charge. So that's why there's a 6 item checkout limit per month. But there's some great stuff in the Hoopla catalog if you're stuck at home. There's even the app you see to the right that's available for smart TVs too, so feel free to stream some British mysteries or, suspense movies, whatever you like. The library blogs full of fun content, and indeed they are. I urge you to check them out. We have a book club for adults as compared to children or young adults. We have monthly meetings right now via Zoom. You can find out more at ssclbook.club. We have a local history blog, corningnyhistory.com. Creation Stationery, the complementary blog to our makerspace, found at creationstationery.com. Story Musings, a SSCL blog hosted by the library's resident author and head of adult services, Michelle Wells, which is found at storymusings.blogspot.com, and Tech and Book Talk, which is found at sscltech.com and features readers, viewers, and listeners' advisory postings with occasionally a helpful how to use personal technology tip thrown in. If you have questions about library services during the pandemic or want to make an appointment for curbside pickup, you are welcome to go the traditional route and simply give us a call. The library's telephone number is area code 607-936-3713. Social media. You can connect with the library, read library news, and post questions to the library via social media. The library has pages on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram. In relation, each video in this series is available on demand via the library's YouTube channel after it has first been shown on Facebook Live. And the videos are also sent link-wise through email if you sign up for the Tech Talk blog. That's on Mondays. And here is our weekly list of references. And that's the program for this week. I've actually forgotten that this week is Valentine's Day, so maybe plan some kind of special Valentine's events at home this week, even if it's just to watch some really romantic movies, or listen to some music, or ignore all of it altogether if you like and just go for a walk, because you really can't go wrong with that. Have a great weekend, everyone.